Have you ever felt stuck in your own life as if the days are racing by? Work demands, expectations from others, and endless worries keep piling up. You struggle to hold everything together, trying to stay in control. But the harder you cling, the more peace seems to slip through your fingers. Your mind keeps spinning, replaying the same anxious thoughts, while happiness feels like something always just beyond your grasp, slipping away no matter how hard you try to hold on. But what if there was another way? What if instead of being carried away by the chaos, you could step back and see everything with calm, unwavering clarity? What if you could release what you cannot control, face difficulties with quiet strength, and free yourself from the exhausting battle with your emotions? This isn't just an ideal. It's the path of the Stoics. True peace doesn't come from controlling the world around you. It comes from mastering how you respond to it. And today, we're going to explore exactly how you can do that. Let's begin. 1. Control your mind. Have you ever felt trapped in a storm with no escape? A single remark lingers in your mind, ruining your whole day. An unanswered message sends you spiraling into overthinking, imagining the worst possible scenarios. One small failure snowballs into overwhelming negativity, making it seem as if the entire world is against you. But here's something few people realize: that storm isn't outside of you, it's within your mind. And if you can learn to control it, you'll find what you've been searching for your entire life: inner peace. I used to be a prisoner of my own mind. If someone insulted me, I got angry. If things didn't go my way, I felt defeated. I lived like a small boat in a vast ocean, tossed around by the waves, never realizing that I had the power to steer. Then, one day, I came across a quote from Epictetus that changed everything. If someone succeeds in provoking you, realize that your mind is complicit in the provocation. That hit me like a slap in the face. No one could truly make me angry or hurt me. They simply acted or spoke as they wished. But my emotions? That was entirely my choice. It wasn't the world causing my suffering. It was my own perception of it. From that moment on, I started practicing a simple yet life-changing principle. Observe your mind instead of letting it control you. Try this. Close your eyes and imagine someone saying something that upsets you. You can feel the anger rising, can't you? But instead of letting it take over, pause and ask yourself, is it really their words that hurt me, or is it my own thoughts about their words? Then ask, can I control my reaction? Is there another way to see this situation? You'll soon realize that emotions don't just happen to you. They are created by you. Change your thoughts, and you change how you feel. And when you control your emotions, you take control of your life. Imagine holding a burning coal in your hand. You're angry, you're in pain, yet you refuse to let go, believing that holding on will somehow hurt the other person. But the truth is, the only one getting burned is you. Negative emotions work the same way. We cling to anger, pain, and anxiety as if they are a part of us. But if you master your mind, you can release them all. And that is true freedom. When you stop seeking peace externally and instead cultivate it within, no one will ever have the power to hurt you again. So, how do you practice this? First, learn to observe your thoughts. When emotions rise, don't react instantly. Step back, detach, and watch them as if they don't belong to you. Second, recognize that you are not your emotions. Anger, fear, sadness, these are just passing waves on the surface of the ocean. They don't define you. Third, control your reactions. When faced with negativity, ask yourself, can I choose to respond differently? And finally, remember that nothing can hurt you unless you allow it to. The words and actions of others only have power over you if you give them permission to. If you allow it, nothing outside of you has the power to disturb your peace. You don't need to reshape the world to find happiness. You don't need to control every detail of life to feel at ease. True peace isn't something external. It comes from within, from the way you choose to see the world. Think of the eye of a storm. While chaos swirls violently all around, the center remains still, unaffected, untouched by the raging winds. You can be that stillness in the storm of your own life. And it all begins with one thing: mastering your mind. 2. Accept everything as it is. Most of us live under the false belief that we can control everything. We plan meticulously, setting expectations, assuming that life will unfold exactly as we envision. But then, when things take an unexpected turn, we panic. We grow frustrated. We suffer. The reality is that much of life is beyond our control. The weather, the opinions and actions of others, unforeseen obstacles that appear without warning. And yet, we resist reality, fighting against it, as if our refusal to accept things as they are will somehow change them. But in truth, the only thing we accomplish is making ourselves miserable. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "Do not seek for things to happen the way you want them to. Rather, wish that what happens the way it happens. Then you will be happy." This is not about surrendering or becoming passive. Acceptance does not mean inaction. It is not giving up. It is waking up. It is the awareness that there are two realms in life: what we can control and what we cannot. And wisdom lies in knowing the difference. A skilled chess player cannot dictate their opponent's moves, but they can adapt their strategy accordingly. A sailor cannot control the direction of the wind, but they can adjust their sails to navigate the currents. Likewise, we cannot force life to conform to our desires, but we can change how we respond. How do we practice acceptance? The first step is to clearly recognize the boundary between what is within our power and what is not. Our choices, our actions, our mindset, these belong to us. But the outcomes? Those are not ours to dictate. We can influence situations, but we cannot command the results. We can express ourselves, but we cannot control how others respond. Once we see this, we stop wasting energy on what is beyond our reach. But recognizing this is only the beginning. True mastery comes through practice, starting with the small moments of everyday life, training ourselves for the greater challenges that lie ahead. When stuck in traffic, instead of growing impatient, use the time to reflect, breathe deeply, or listen to something that calms your mind. When unexpected rain ruins your plans, rather than feeling frustrated, embrace the moment. Feel the cool raindrops. Take in the fresh scent of the earth after the storm. When someone behaves in a way you dislike, instead of demanding they change, remind yourself, their actions are theirs. My reaction is mine. Every small act of acceptance strengthens us, gradually reshaping the way we see the world. Ironically, the more we try to control life, the more fragile we become. But the moment we let go and flow with it, a strange sense of freedom emerges. It's like a river effortlessly moving around rocks instead of trying to crash through them, or a kite soaring effortlessly with the wind instead of resisting it. We become more adaptable, more at ease, and most importantly, we are no longer controlled by unnecessary negativity. Is this easy? Of course not. Human nature craves control. We want the world to bend to our will. But this very desire is what leads to suffering. Think about it. How many times have you felt miserable simply because things didn't go according to plan? How often have you been angry because someone didn't act the way you wanted? How many moments of joy have you lost dwelling on the past or worrying about the future? Life will never be perfect, but the way you perceive it, that is within your power. If today, you choose to accept everything as it is, not with resentment, not with resistance, but with understanding, you will find the world lighter and your heart at peace. And that is the path to true happiness. Yet, accepting life as it is only solves half the puzzle. Because life is not just about what we see in front of us. It is also about the unknown that lies ahead. What will tomorrow bring? Will our expectations be met, or will we encounter unexpected challenges? And if we spend our days fearing what we cannot predict, can our minds ever truly be at peace? To find lasting happiness, we must learn to embrace not only what is, but also what could be. And that leads us to the next lesson. 3. Embrace uncertainty. Why do we fear the unknown? Because we are trapped in the illusion of control. We want certainty. We want guarantees. We want to know that our plans will unfold exactly as we imagined. But reality does not work that way. Everything can change in an instant: a sudden storm, an unexpected phone call, a twist of fate that alters the course of your life. And when we resist uncertainty, we suffer. We grow tense, anxious. We desperately cling to things that were never truly ours to hold. But what happens when we learn to embrace the unknown? We become free. Epictetus once said, "Make the best use of what is in your power, and take the rest as it happens." When we internalize this, we stop wasting our energy trying to control the uncontrollable. Instead, we shift our focus to what truly matters: our response. Think about the greatest moments of your life, the experiences that shaped you, the lessons that defined you. How many of them were planned? How many of them came when you least expected? Life's most profound gifts are often hidden in uncertainty. But if we spend all our time fearing it, we will never discover them. So, instead of fearing the unknown, welcome it. See uncertainty not as a threat, but as a canvas for possibility. Instead of trying to predict every outcome, trust in your ability to adapt. When faced with an unexpected challenge, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I grow? You do not need all the answers. You do not need to control what happens next. You only need to trust in your ability to handle whatever comes your way. And when you do, you will no longer be a prisoner of fear. You will move through life with a quiet, unshakable strength. Not because the world is predictable, but because you are prepared for anything. And that is true power. A trader has no power over the market's direction, but they can control their investment strategies. Similarly, no one can stop the rain from falling, but they can decide whether to carry an umbrella or dance in the downpour. It is this ability, the choice of perspective, that turns uncertainty from a formidable foe into a trusted ally. Picture your mind as a wild horse. If you grip the reins too tightly, it will resist, rear up, and throw you off. But if you guide it with patience and skill, you can ride with ease and confidence. Uncertainty functions in the same way. Instead of fighting against it, learn to flow with it. When faced with an unclear future, resist the urge to panic. Instead, ask yourself, what opportunity might this bring? Shift your perspective from what's the worst that could happen to how can I adapt? This mindset isn't as difficult to apply as it may seem. The first step is awareness, recognizing what you're futilely trying to control. Write them down. I worry about how others perceive me. I fear my plans will collapse. I'm scared things won't go as I expected. Now ask yourself, are these things truly within my control? If not, release them. The next step is to cultivate adaptability. Try going through a day without meticulously planning every detail. Just let life unfold naturally. When an obstacle appears, pause and observe your reaction. Do you tense up, or do you accept it? Can you discover a creative way forward rather than resisting? Each time you succeed, you will feel lighter, stronger, more resilient. Lastly, nurture faith in yourself. Not blind optimism that everything will always be fine, but the belief that no matter what happens, you will handle it. Marcus Aurelius once wrote that human beings possess an extraordinary ability to adapt, so long as they do not lose their composure in the face of uncertainty. You don't need to predict the future. You only need to trust that whatever comes, you will stand firm. Think back on your life. How many moments of uncertainty led you to unexpected, incredible experiences? How often did obstacles shape you into someone stronger than you imagined? Share your story in the comments. I'd love to hear your journey. And if you're still hesitating to embrace uncertainty, perhaps now is the time. You may not control every twist and turn of life, but you can learn to navigate them with grace. When you do, you won't just find peace, you'll uncover an extraordinary strength within yourself. Be indifferent to praise and criticism. Imagine strolling through a bustling marketplace. Vendors call out to you from every direction, each with their own pitch, their own price, their own enticing words. Some flatter you. You have an excellent eye for quality. Others criticize you. You probably don't know how to choose properly. If you react to every single remark, you'll be drained before you even leave the market. But if you simply smile and keep walking, none of it will weigh on you. Life operates in the same way. People will always have opinions about you. One day you're praised, the next, you're condemned. If you allow yourself to be swayed by every judgment, you'll find yourself trapped in a cycle of validation and rejection, joy and despair. But if you choose indifference, not because you don't care, but because you understand that your worth isn't defined by external opinions, you will be truly free. This doesn't mean you should be cold or emotionless, it simply means reclaiming ownership of your mind. Epictetus once said, "If someone speaks ill of you, do not defend yourself, but respond. He must not know my other faults, or he would have mentioned those too." Instead of worrying about what others think, remind yourself, I am imperfect, and that's perfectly fine. No matter what you do, someone will always judge you. Even the greatest minds in history, Socrates, Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, were criticized, even persecuted. Did that change them? Number. They remained steadfast in their principles, unmoved by either praise or condemnation. So challenge yourself. For just one day, live without concern for what others think. Say what you truly mean. Do what you believe is right. Not for approval, but because it aligns with your values. By the end of the day, you'll feel something remarkable, a profound sense of relief. Because in the end, when you stop chasing validation, you don't just find peace, you find yourself. Let go of the need to be right. Picture yourself standing on the deck of a ship, gazing at the endless blue sky above. The sun is warm, the sea calm. Then someone walks up and says, "The sky isn't blue, it's purple." How do you feel? Annoyed? An urge to argue? A need to prove them wrong? Now pause. If you engage in debate, will the sky change color? Will they suddenly nod and admit they were mistaken? Or will you simply waste your energy defending something that doesn't need defending? Stoicism does not ask you to abandon truth. It asks you to recognize that not every battle is worth fighting. If someone can provoke you into anger, it's not because they are powerful, it's because you have handed them control over your emotions. The truth is, we don't argue just for clarity. We argue to defend our ego, to crave validation, to fear looking foolish. In our obsession with being right, we unknowingly sacrifice our inner peace. Think of it this way. Imagine holding a burning coal, ready to throw it at someone in anger. Who gets burned first? The ego whispers, "If you let go, you lose." But is winning a meaningless argument worth the pain of a scorched hand? The solution? First, observe your reactions. When someone disagrees with you, pause and ask, "Do I really need to prove myself here? Is this worth my peace?" Most of the time, the answer will be no. Next, practice listening. Most debates aren't about discovering truth. They are about people wanting to be heard. When you stop trying to win conversations and start truly listening, you'll find that wisdom emerges from silence. And finally, accept that some people will never let go of their need to be right. They will drag you into endless arguments trying to pull you into their chaos. But here's the key. You don't have to attend every battle you're invited to. True strength lies in knowing when to step away. So ask yourself, Do I want to be the one who wins every argument, or the one who finds inner peace? If your goal is happiness, perhaps it's time to lower your sword, step back, and free your mind. You are about to uncover something profound. Life has always held its own unique beauty. You just never truly noticed. When you look at the world without expectations, a deep sense of peace follows. But then comes another challenge. How do you safeguard that peace? Life doesn't just draw us toward our own desires. It also burdens us with the weight of others' expectations. If you agree to every request, if you allow others to decide how your time and energy are spent, are you really in control of your own life? Maybe it's time to embrace another powerful principle, the courage to say no. Number 7, say no more. Often, think about those sci-fi movies with magical doors, gateways that can transport you anywhere, whether to a world of joy, a place filled with light, or even a chaotic abyss. Surprisingly, such a door exists in real life, right within your grasp. It doesn't require a golden key or any mystical force. It's a single word: no. A simple word, yet when used wisely, it can unlock a life of greater peace and fulfillment. But if you hesitate to use it, you might find yourself stuck in an endless maze, where every turn leads to obligations you never truly wanted. Imagine standing before a grand feast, a table overflowing with tempting dishes. You're not particularly hungry, but the host keeps insisting, "Just try a little." You feel guilty refusing, so you take a bite. Then another. Before you realize it, you've overindulged, leaving you heavy, exhausted, perhaps even regretful. Life is much the same. Invitations, responsibilities, and opportunities constantly appear before us, and we often feel compelled to say yes. But just as overeating slows the body, taking on too much wears down the mind. The Stoics believed that true freedom doesn't come from pleasing everyone, but from mastering oneself. Epictetus once said, "Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control." If you truly wish to live a meaningful life, you must let go of what isn't yours to carry. Try seeing rejection not as turning something down, but as making a choice. Saying no isn't about rejecting people or opportunities. It's about choosing a path that aligns with who you truly are. Think of a great artist, not one who paints everything they possibly can, but one who carefully removes unnecessary strokes. A fulfilling life isn't about doing everything, but about selecting what truly matters. If you're not used to saying no, expect resistance. People will react. They'll be surprised, maybe even disappointed. But that's actually a good sign. If you've never let anyone down, it likely means you've sacrificed too much of your own freedom just to keep others happy. So, what happens if you start saying no today? Here's the interesting part. Once you practice selective rejection, something unexpected occurs. Life becomes lighter. The truly important things rise above the noise. You gain more time to focus on what genuinely fulfills you. And most importantly, you start to feel free. Because at the end of the day, happiness isn't about having more. It's about carrying less. Are you ready to open that door? Sometimes, a single no can change everything. If you've ever felt overwhelmed by meaningless yeses, drop a "say no" in the comments as a commitment to yourself, to begin curating your life with greater intention. Number 8, embrace discomfort to grow. Picture yourself as a sharp blade. Without a grindstone, without pressure and friction, that edge dulls, rendering it useless. Life works the same way. If you avoid discomfort, if you refuse to face challenges, you will never sharpen yourself, never evolve into the strongest version of who you can be. The Stoics believed that hardship, inconvenience, and adversity aren't obstacles to growth, but the very conditions that make growth possible. You've probably heard the saying, If you want to be strong, you must be willing to endure. But why? Happiness and peace don't come from comfort alone. They come from embracing discomfort. Stoicism doesn't chase a life of ease. It builds the inner strength to face difficulties head-on. Epictetus once said, "Difficulties are what show men's character." When challenges arise, imagine yourself as a wrestler, carefully matched by the universe against a strong opponent, not as a punishment, but as training. A wrestler doesn't grow by avoiding tough matches. He sharpens his skills by facing them. So how do we embrace discomfort instead of resisting it? Think of professional boxers. They don't just endure being hit. They train to take harder punches every day. Their bodies toughen, but more importantly, so do their minds. In daily life, you can apply this principle in small yet powerful ways. Wake up earlier than you want to. Train your discipline instead of indulging in extra sleep. When faced with a daunting opportunity, step beyond your comfort zone instead of retreating into the familiar. If there's a difficult conversation ahead, don't avoid it. Face it, knowing that discomfort is a catalyst for growth. Even in the smallest ways, choosing challenge over ease, walking instead of driving, silencing your phone instead of letting it control you, builds resilience. It seems ironic, doesn't it? We often think happiness lies in comfort. Yet the most fulfilled people are those who have faced hardship and mastered their minds. When you choose discomfort, suffering ceases to be suffering. It transforms into training. Ask yourself, when was the last time you truly faced something that made you uncomfortable? Did you step into it, or did you shy away? The Stoics never sought the easy path. They lived as warriors, standing firm in the face of storms, knowing that resilience isn't found in avoidance, but in confrontation. So if today feels difficult, don't curse it. Be grateful. Life isn't breaking you, it's forging you. The next time you find yourself in an uncomfortable situation, remember, growth never comes from ease. Lean into the challenge. Make it part of your journey. And in doing so, you will find true peace, not by escaping hardship, but by rising to meet it.